Joy Bauer's Superfood. That's the cookbook that we're reviewing today, so grab a mug of your favorite beverage and join me for today's nutrition coffee chat. And while you're at it, click the subscription button below and the little notification bell so that you get everything you need to create healthy eating habits that stick. Well, before I get into the review, I want to let you know that there are multiple construction projects happening around my home here. So I apologize if there's any booms and crashes and beep, beep, beeps going on while we're recording here. We're doing what we can. But anyways, we're going to get into this review. Joy Bauer, you likely know her. She is everywhere. She has a magazine column. She's all over the U.S. TV, whether it's daytime shows, talk shows, news outlets, things like the Today Show, you probably know her from, as well as being a New York Times best-selling author of, I think, 13 cookbooks. I might have it a little bit wrong, but about 13 cookbooks. Do you know Joy Bauer? Do you have any recipes of hers that you love? I'd love to hear about that. Share that in the comment section below. But anyways, today I'm reviewing her latest cookbook, Superfood, 150 Recipes for Eternal Youth. Yes, please, I want that. And since she is such a pro, I can really tell you that that comes through in this cookbook. Nice hardcover book, beautiful glossy pages, and yes, every recipe has a photo, whether it's a small insert photo or a full page spread. There are beautiful photos with each recipe. And I really, really love it. This was a real standout for me, was how she organizes the page. If you can see here, beautiful organization. Why am I a fan of this? Because the last thing you want to be is annoyed and struggling to read a recipe when you're trying to make it. So I love this, that she has nice big font. She has her little blurb describing it at the top. And then there's the ingredients bolded and the directions, nice clear directions, nice spacing between them, the big numbers indicating which step number you're on. Loved this layout. I can tell she is a pro. So how does she organize the cookbook? Let's get into it. Starts with introduction, then morning meals, breads, bagels, muffins, and biscuits, soups and salads, side spreads and dips, superfood fries. That's very cool that that's a whole chapter in here. Superfood pizza and pasta, one pot wonders, enticing entrees, vegetarian and vegan entrees, sweet and savory treats, smoothies, slushies, beneficial bevies, and grown-up cocktails. So she's covering the gamut in this cookbook. I gave it a thorough cooking review, as I always do, so let's get into the recipes that I tried. First one, miso soup with mushroom scallion meatballs. I love a miso soup. The kiddos in my household love a meatball, so I was all over this one. And yeah, this one used ground turkey, and I noticed that she uses ground turkey quite a bit throughout the cookbook. And it's something that I hadn't really used before, so I was excited to give this a try. She also has mushrooms hiding in that meatball, this time shiitake mushrooms. And I love that idea because the kiddos in my household, they're pretty good veggie eaters, but hey, you know, more recipes that incorporate more vegetables, always a good idea in my bag. And especially we have one non-mushroom eater. So I was excited to give these a try and see how they went. And what I did is I actually served the meatballs on the side for the kids and put the meatballs right in the broth for us adults, just because I wasn't sure. They hadn't actually had miso soup before. And so I wanted to just put on the side and see what they did. So deconstructed it a little bit. And you know what? This was a big hit. My sweetheart and I found that the meatballs were a little dry on their own, so we did enjoy them in the soup. It gave that moistness that we were looking for. The kids loved them on the side. They were super happy. And yep, that little kiddo who says he doesn't like mushrooms had no idea the mushrooms were in there. Big hit. successful idea. And I love that there are the snap peas in the miso soup. I never put snap peas in miso soup, and it made the miso soup taste more miso-y, if that makes sense, and it made the snap peas taste even sweeter. It was one of those synergistic effect recipes, and so I will definitely be doing that again. Moving on to the next recipe, Japanese salad with carrot ginger dressing. Yum. Yum, 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 yum. I definitely loved this dressing. I will be making it again and again and again. This is a recipe that is going to stick in my repertoire. Delicious. If you like brightness, if you like ginger, definitely give that recipe a try. Moving on to lentil, apple, and purple cabbage salad. This is exactly up my flavor profile, the type of thing I love to eat all summer long, kind of full meal salads, I call them. You can call them a Buddha bowl or a power bowl. I added a little bit of brown rice to make it a full meal salad, and it was delicious. If you wanted to eat a little lower carb, just have it with the lentils there. Now, lentils do have carbohydrates in there, so it's not going to be a fit if you're doing, say, keto or something like that. But if you are looking to do lower carb, you could have it without the rice. As the recipe indicates, I added a little bit of brown rice just to give myself a little bit more fullness, and yeah, big hit for me. Next recipe, Asian cauliflower fried rice. Here she's using riced cauliflower. I think it's an amazing invention. I admit I do not rice my own cauliflower. I buy it in the freezer section. I think that's brilliant. And yeah, this recipe was delicious. I love a quick stir fry recipe. And I did mix brown rice in with it. You could have it as a low carb meal, as she shares, just with the cauliflowered rice. But with the kiddos in my household, they need a bit more sustenance at a meal. But I love the cauliflowered rice because we mix it together and then the kids just eat it right up. They don't notice the cauliflower in there. And so it's a great way to get a whole lot of veggies in the kiddos and us adults too. Now, something I noticed with this recipe, and again throughout, is that she uses liquid egg whites in here. So there seems to be quite a bit of a fear of fat happening in the cookbook, which is something that I'm not in agreement with. I used the egg whites to give this recipe a test for you, to give the cookbook a try, but I will be definitely making this recipe again, but I'm going to use a whole egg. I want the choline, I want the iron that happens to be found in the egg yolk. So I'll be making again with whole eggs, but this was a great idea, a great way to do a quick stir fry and incorporate that cauliflower, that riced cauliflower in there. Moving on, curried eggplant, chickpeas, and tomatoes. This dish, again, right up my flavor profile, the type of thing I enjoy. I noticed that she is very low sodium, very low salt in this cookbook, and I do generally cook with quite low salt for the health reasons. Something that I do though usually is salt my eggplant to bring out that bitterness, and then you wipe most of the salt off and then cook with it. She skipped that step to keep things lower sodium in here. And I did notice more of that bitterness in the eggplant from it. So I'll be making this again, but I'm going to do the salting of the eggplant step. And if you've tried eggplant before and you thought it was too bitter, it might be because you didn't know to do the salting step. So I'd encourage you to try eggplant again, but cut it up, salt it, and then pat that salt off. It draws out the bitterness. And so you're still not getting a ton of salt, but it can bring a lot more enjoyment to eggplant for those who have tried it and didn't care for it. Okay, moving on. Purple Super Slaw. This was delicious. And I love a slaw. I eat coleslaws all year round, different versions of it, but I never put purple grapes in it, and I loved it. My sweetheart loved it, the kiddos loved it, and usually they're not big on the slaw, and so this was a real hit. So I'm going to be remembering that to add grapes to a coleslaw. Addictive chard broccoli. If you don't know about roasting your broccoli, do it. Delicious. Delicious way to eat broccoli. I agree with her. It's addictive that way. So this technique, this recipe wasn't new to me, but yeah, happy to do it again. Love it. Black bean and basil ratatouille. Similar to the past eggplant dish, this was delicious, but I'm going to salt my eggplant before I make this recipe again to make it less bitter. Turmeric hummus. In this one, she uses both dry turmeric and fresh turmeric. And my mind was blown, I gotta say. This was the most delicious hummus I've ever eaten. And I eat a lot of hummus. In my own cookbook, I have a roasted beet hummus, and I have to admit, this one beats that one out. Who knew that something as simple as fresh turmeric added into the hummus would make it so delicious? Apparently Joy Bauer did, and I am thankful for her. So yes, I will be adding fresh turmeric to my hummus in the future. Love that. Love the antioxidant and the anti-inflammatory power that fresh turmeric brings to a recipe, and so adding that into a hummus, home run. Okay, next one. I did try something from the fries chapter. I had to. And what I made was bacon-cheeseburger carrot fries with special sauce. This was a huge hit with the whole family. It was delicious. It's using that ground turkey again and turkey bacon and roasted carrots. And you mix it all together so it's kind of a big mess. And then I did serve it on the buns for the kiddos. And while she calls it a burger, I'd almost call it like a sloppy Joe style because it is messy and getting everywhere. That delicious. The flavor combinations going on are brilliant. I'm going to be making this one in regular rotation. The kids gobbled it up. Us adults gobbled it up. And yeah, I really liked the turkey bacon in it. It wasn't as salty, as intense as regular bacon, and so it was a really nice combination, but it also gave enough flavor that ground turkey didn't end up tasting too dry. Roasted cod with blistered tomatoes and turmeric wine sauce. This is a sheet pan meal. I love a sheet pan meal. I love a quick cooking fish recipe. And again, the wine and that fresh turmeric really sung together in this. Bright, tasty, even though it's in the oven, it was a great kind of spring summer recipe. I will be making this again. And yeah, the prep time was like next to nothing. I love that. She says prep time 10 minutes. I mean, I think that's being generous, to tell the truth. It was super, super fast. So this is a great weeknight meal. You just cut up very few things, throw her in the oven, and then you have an amazing dinner. So love that. Moving on. Chicken stir fry with sweet dates and bell peppers. Okay, this one intrigued me. Stir fry with dates? Okay, I had to give it a try. It's a winner. This was delicious. My sweetheart absolutely loved it. He thought this was amazing. The kids ate it up quickly. I mean, it's dates and it's bell peppers, both sweet flavor profiles, so the kiddos loved it. And yeah, I liked it too. So this one won. Next recipe is loaded bell pepper nachos. Again, another winning recipe. The kiddos loved this. And that's saying something because especially our oldest, he's kind of hit and miss with cooked bell peppers. I would say he's miss more often than he's a hit. And he gobbled these up. And what I was really attracted to with them is that they have all the flavor that you're looking for, all those components of a stuffed bell pepper, but with like 1/3 the work. Like almost no effort went into this meal. Again, it's a sheet pan meal. All you're doing is like cutting the bell peppers in half and throwing the stuff in there, throwing it in the oven. Brilliant. So I would say, with it being summer, I'm doing a little bit less in the oven right now, but come fall time, come winter time, when I'm needing quick meal ideas, this is going to be in the rotation Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant idea. Okay, Middle Eastern kofta with roasted garlic tahini. Now, this was quite similar to the meatball miso soup recipe in that it's ground turkey and there's hidden veggies in there. This time it's grated zucchini. Again, the kiddos, if it's a meatball, the kiddos love it. They didn't even notice the zucchini. It was a hit. My sweetheart and I did find that it really needed that sauce because it was on the dry side, but with the sauce, it was delicious. So it was a good one. Ooh, Louisiana dirty rice with sausage and shrimp. This dish was delicious, quick cooking, which I loved, spicier than I realized. I cook with paprika a lot, but usually it's more of a minor ingredient in a spice mix, where this one, paprika is quite dominant. And so it was spicier than I thought. So I had made a little bit without the seasoning in a separate dish for the kids in case it was spicy. And they loved the plain shrimp. They found that the seasoning was a little too spicy, except our youngest one, where he just loved shrimp so much that he was like, and he would eat a bite of shrimp and then drink a whole bunch of milk and then, and let his mouth calm down and then build his determination up again and then take another bite of shrimp. And then, so it was a whole ordeal for him, but he was like, so delicious, so delicious. It was pretty cute to watch him being tortured by it. But yeah, delicious recipe. I'll probably make it again just with us adults home. It was a little too spicy for the kiddos, but if you don't mind a little bit of heat, this was a quick recipe and a delicious recipe. Mediterranean snapper with extra virgin salsa verde. Okay, this recipe, I mean, things do not get any easier than this. Things do not get any quicker than it. And it was delicious. Delicious. My sweetheart was over the moon with this. It made extra salsa verde. And so he was using it multiple meals going forward, the leftovers. And I served the salsa verde on the side so the kids could have their fish just plain. They do like plain fish. My sweetheart and I had the salsa verde on top. Now, I would say this salsa verde is either for you if you're single or make sure everybody eats it. It is not a date night kind of dish because there's a lot of raw shallot and a lot of raw garlic in there. So if you love those flavors, you will definitely love this dish. But yeah, don't have this and then go out and meet a whole bunch of people or expect to be kissing someone who did not also eat this dish because whoo, there's going to be garlic breath city. But yeah, delicious, quick way to serve fish. Okay, into the vegetarian vegan recipes. I tried the incredible vegan tacos. Yeah, and it was aptly named. The filling was great, and it was a combination of walnuts and lentils and black beans. And that combination together had lots of umami flavor going on. It had lots of texture. Everybody in the household was a big fan. It was gobbled up really quickly, delicious. I'll definitely be making this one again. Now, I did have a little bit, I didn't keep them completely vegan. My sweetheart and I had them vegan. We had some extra shredded cheese left over from those bell pepper nachos, so I did put that on the table for the kids to kind of load up on top. So truly vegan, not for the kiddos, but the filling was, and yeah, delicious. Moving on to the baking and the desserts. Soft baked almond butter chocolate chip cookies. These were a hit. Now I swapped out the almond butter for a sunflower seed butter, which is mentioned in here because the kiddos are going to day camp right now and I wanted to be able to pack these in their lunches, and it's a no nut day camp. Seeds are okay, nuts are not allowed. And so I made them with the sunflower seed butter instead of the almond butter. And these were, I would call them strangely good. Everybody else loved them. There's no flour in here. There's no grain at all. The body of the cookie is chickpeas and the almond butter, or in my case, sunflower seed butter. and it was delicious. But the texture was a little different than a regular cookie. But as I said, the kiddos didn't even ask. They just ate them up. My sweetheart loved them. And the first one I found a little strange, but then you know what? I went back and kept having a few more over the next few days. So I'm going to put it in the strangely good category, which is a success. And then, yeah, the last recipe, fudgy lentil brownies. Now, you might have been familiar with a black bean brownie. This is along the similar line, but with lentils, obviously, instead of black beans. And this, again, is delicious. They use applesauce and the lentils to sweeten it up and make it more moist, and just one egg. So, and this is using ground oats. So again, a gluten-free recipe and a dairy-free recipe, depending on what kind of chocolate chips you get. But again, packed this for the kiddos for the day camp with the sunflower seed instead of a little bit of almond butter that it calls for. Delicious, fudgy, everything you're looking for from a brownie. So those are all the recipes that I tried, and you'll notice, yeah, even a few more than usual. I usually try to test out at least a dozen recipes from the cookbook. I think there was at least 14 here, and there are more recipes that I want to go back in and keep trying. A quinoa sweet potato latke is on my mind there. There's using the chickpea flour, besan flour to make some fries that I'm going to be getting back in there. So yeah, I'm really keen, even as many recipes as I've tried, I'm keen to go back and try some more. And as I mentioned, going through, there's a lot of recipes that I'm going to be returning to again and again. So quite obviously, do I recommend Superfood by Joy Bauer? Yes, a resounding yes, I recommend it, particularly if you are looking for vegetable-centric, kid-friendly, quick weeknight dinners. Hands down, yes. I am going to recommend not using necessarily the cooking spray so much, just a regular little drizzle or daub of oil and whole eggs. And salting your eggplant if you make the eggplant dishes. So those are some minor little tweaks that I'll make when I keep cooking recipes from this cookbook, but definitely a resounding recommendation for this cookbook. Now, if you want to go purchase it, pop on down to your local bookstore. If you buy your books through Amazon, I'll ask you to please use the link that I have in the description box below. When you do so, I earn a little bit of income from that, which helps support the development of these videos and the channel at no extra expense to you. So that's a wonderful way to support the channel. And so, yes, that's in the description box below. Well, I hope that you liked this video. If you did so, please let me know. Click the like button below. I've got a couple more cookbook reviews for you here, so I can encourage you to check them out. I'll see you next month, and in the meantime, enjoy healthy eating.